What's up, guys? Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions. A little bit between episodes. I built this observatory from Astral Sorcery, and I rebuilt our achievement altar. And I made a couple of constellation papers. Just because when we go to kill get neutrons from the Ender Chicken, if we run a ritual with Horologium Corrupted, which we do by then reattuning the crystal with Alcara, if I understood correctly. If we do it that way, we can freeze the mobs in place when they spawn with the summoning altar, and then trap them, and then put a regen ritual going, which will keep them alive. So we can just get infinite neutrons from them. Kind of how I understand it. I think I've discovered everything I need apart from Horologium, which unfortunately only spawns once every 36 in-game days. So I have to remember to come out here at night and double check it. Made a wireless crafting terminal, figured it was about time. We are also at the point where we can very nearly make the creative one. I made dense energy cells, sorry, for the terminal, for the original terminal. These weren't anything too difficult. It's just the multi-block miniaturization crafting with some energy cells, flux box, glass, and a redstone. We already have the osmium and the diamantine. I think we have enough infinity booster cards. We might need a couple more, but they're really easy to get because we can just automate the wither for them. We have the polytetrafluoroethylene, so the only thing we're missing is the ludicrous voltage circuit, and it's only crafted in an IV machine. So I figure we'll start off by making one of these. I've got everything together for it already. Making one of them will give us another 4 for free, which assumedly we can use to make the LUV assembling machine as well. So we should just be able to make our first ludicrous voltage circuit like that. I also did some bits and pieces of resource processing. Tried to figure out how I want to reset this up and do oil. I even crafted the distillation tower, or the first one. Then I got a little bit sidetracked with the Ender Chicken stuff. I figured we should probably get on that. What do I need for the quest? So I need to tick this. And this. Yeah, there we go. So now we need one of those. We'll have to make some osmium cable. I think we need that for a later tier, so we will. I always open that by mistake. I will teach it to make the osmium cable. We need 2 diamantide crystals. We do need a couple more infinity booster cards, but I'll just spawn the wither a couple of times. And what was the other item? Oh yeah, dense energy cell. And I made an extra one of these earlier. Another thing I did between episodes is we started it last episode, we made these Ferris beacons, but I made up a bunch of displacement runes to finish up the tier 5 altar, is it? Yeah, tier 5. And I have just been feeding my blood network with my logistics system, but I think I've run out of blood in the logistics system now, so I might need to turn that off for a little while. If we turn it up here, then at least it will just fill that tank. Actually, I'll leave it on there and turn it off here. Then we'll just store whatever fits in there. How many more of these did we need? 8. Oh god. But this glass was supposed to be witherproof. Obviously isn't. It looks like the ritual survived. I'd really like to close that off again. Yeah, that was our first mistake of the day. We ran out of blood in our network. Explosion resistance, including the wither. So yeah, that was some witherproof explosion resistance right there. We didn't get any more in here, did we? No, we'll have to wait for a bit. By the looks of it. That's everything fixed. Yeah, we ran out of blood in our network and the wither spawned. Well, I spawned the wither and it blew up. Yeah, we can just craft these, so I'll probably just craft the last few. They're not super expensive. We just need to make some fluix pearls. And it's just helium, ender pearl, and pure fluix crystal. Okay, we should be able to make these now. We just need 3 of these. And then we can make 3 of these. Nice. Okay, then this should be everything. And there is our creative wireless crafting terminal. Do I need to rebind this? I do. Wrong one. It's the one right in front of me, of course. There we go. And this has infinite range, infinite energy, so we can always access our AE system wherever we are now, which is a huge quality of life boost. So we can't really work on the Ender Chicken until we get Horologium in the sky. Just to make sure, I'm pretty sure we have a quest reward with another... Honestly, I'm just trying to get away with not building the multi-block for a bit longer. Oh yeah, star metal veins. So yeah, we have another 900 size, 100 purity, 100 cutting, attuned celestial crystal. I don't know what it's attuned to. Well, that makes my life a hell of a lot easier. That's attuned to Horologium. Can I use this without actually discovering it? By the way, if you're wondering how I can tell, it's because I've got advanced item details turned on. And down at the bottom, there's some, just above, if you don't want this information to appear, there's like a list of properties that the item has. And I can see that its constellation name is Astral Sorcery Constellation Horologium. Even though I haven't actually unlocked the constellation fully yet. Well, in that case, let's... Is it Alcara? I think it's Alcara. So these... some of these, Alcara and Altaresia at least, are faint constellations, I think. I think that's the right terminology. And what they do is they buff the existing effects on rituals rather than having their own effects. So we're going to attune the Horologium crystal to Alcara, and that will give us a corrupted Horologium crystal, which prevents movement of enemies within its radius. So I didn't start oil processing yet, but I fixed some bottlenecks, and now we're up to nearly 8,000 gel toluene. I don't think we have any more toluene in here. No. So this is like 2,000 TNT. Still don't think that's going to be enough to beat the pack. Maybe we can build the implosion chamber ready though. Implosion compressor, sorry. This is 3 obsidian, some H3 circuits, some aluminium cable, and solid steel machine casings. It's just steel frames, steel plates. I think we have the steel frames encoded already. No, we have blue steel, titanium, aluminium, and tungsten steel. Maybe solid steel machine casing. We'll need some more of that, but just for the controller. 3 high voltage circuits. Actually out of gallium plates. I'll teach you how to make that. And what were the cables? Aluminium. And there's everything for our implosion compressor. And then for the quest, it wants us to make 12 solid steel machine casings. And we have one there. Make that 2. So we just need another 10. Oh, I'm actually out of steel. Yeah, so we should just have to make another 10 solid steel machine casings. And then it wants TNT, and we get the input and output bus for free, which is nice, and a stack of TNT. The TNT is just toluene and sulfuric acid, and I think I have a chemical reactor that has some sulfuric acid in it downstairs from when I was making circuit boards. Yeah. And there's our TNT. I guess this machine would want to be on the on-demand floor. I don't really want to automate it yet. I guess I don't really need to build it yet. Getting the quest out of the way and having the parts for it is probably good enough for now. We'll actually put this together when we get some Neutronium and I figure out where I want to put it. So next up, another thing that I said I was going to get done this episode was that we would start building the assembly line. We're probably going to need a few of these. Just build one for now. I guess let's build one that's big enough to build the LUV components. So I think each one of these has to go in its own input hatch and have its own like space on the assembly line. If I'm remembering correctly. To make LUV motors, we need 9 input hatches and 2 fluid input hatches. Yeah, this looks to be about the size that we'd want to make. Looks like the fluid hatches can go on the sides rather than having to go in the bottom middle like the rest of them. It's all energy input hatches on the top. Great machine casings which aren't too expensive, and then all the middles this assembly line casing I think, which is very expensive. I think those go all the way through the middle. Yeah. And then reinforced glass, which isn't too bad. And then we can just extend it out when we need more, I guess. Let's start off with, let's look at building the assembly line itself. I'm not going to automate the main block, I think, but we will automate these assembler machine casings. And these take a tungsten steel frame, which we have already taught it to make, and a bunch of crystal processors we want to use. I did make up more of these before the episode, so we have 42 at the moment, and I'm hoping that's going to be enough, but I don't really know. Make sure this is the right tungsten steel frame, otherwise it won't know how to build it. I'm pretty sure we already programmed in the motors and the robot arms. We have the circuits. We need an IV machine hull, 4 casings, 2 robot arms. And that should be our assembly line main block. So next up, I actually had to make this one bigger because one of the hatches is an output hatch, of course. Let's make the 20 great machine casings to go along here. And these are steel frame, steel rotor, MV motors, and some iron parts. Now we should be able to make the 20 of these. Thankfully these parts aren't that expensive. Okay, so that's 20 grates. We also need these all the way down the middle, and it's going to be 10 long, so we're going to need 10 of these assembling line casings. These are quite expensive. 2 IV robot arms, or 1 IV robot arm each. So we need 10 of these. We're missing neodymium. Oh dear. Yeah, I made up some naquadah ingots as well, right? Let's just grab some of these so that we get that quest. because I believe that, yeah, that opens up the aqueduct balls, which gives us systems on chips. We can make these ones already. Well, we can make the chips with them. We have an IV assembler for small and medium and high voltage. But in order to make the EV ones, we need the advanced system on chips. And these require an LUV assembling machine. And that will let us make EV circuits as cheap as you can possibly can. I don't know whether we can make crystal SSEs. So LUV, we could also make the very cheap IV processors. You also need a laser engraver. You should be able to make our 10 assembling line cases now. Yep. Reasonably expensive on tungsten and tungsten steel and on circuits. What else do we need? We need solid steel on each side apart from on one spot, because one of them is going to be an input hatch. There's going to be 9 solid steel machine casings on each side. 18 solid steel machine casings we're going to need. We have 2, so we need 16 more. And this is where it gets very expensive. Yeah, we're still very short on crystal processors. No, wait. These were solid steel machine casings, right? They look exactly the same and it confuses me. We need 16 more of these. Need more steel again. There we go. That's our solid steel machine cases crafting. What's holding up those? Oh, the huge amount of wire, of course. God, we made up 40 electric motors like yesterday or the day before. And we've gone through all of them already. And then the final thing we need, other than the input and output hatches, are this time the assembling machine cases. Now we need the reinforced glass as well. If it's going to be 10 long, one's going to have the assembly line. So we need 9 assembler machine casings. We have 2, so we need 7 more. Okay, so that's a little bit better. We only need 7 more circuits. So I will make up about half a stack of these just to tide us over. And now we have everything to make our 7 more assembler machine casings. I'm also going to want the solid steel. We're going to want some more solid steel, I think. I think we put 2 IV input hatches on it and not all the way along the top up here. And that will give us LUV power. If we're only having 2 IV input hatches, then we'd need another 8 solid steel machine casings. I think this is how it works anyway. We have our assembly line casings there. So 8 of those. We have IV machine holes. Cable is it for the input hatches? Tungsten. I'm also going to want a CF. And then I'm going to want what? 9 inputs, 2 fluid inputs. Let's do a few extra fluid inputs. Let's do like, no, I have too many stainless steel casings, but let's future-proof it just a little bit. Do like 5 fluid inputs and 9 item inputs. I'll do 6 fluid inputs and then do 15. Of course, I need more steel. So we'll have 1 output bus and then 9 input buses. I guess we might as well have 1 more fluid input hatch as well. And I think that was everything, right? Guess I'm just going to build this like here. How do I want to do this? I think what I want to do is I want to build it like 3 up off of the ground. Well, 4 up off of the ground. A little bit further. Because I want to be able to access the hatches and stuff underneath. I think that's a pretty nice way of being able to do that. Grab those and this. I never get it right the first time. Yeah, I think I actually know what the problem is. I think they have to be ULV input buses. Just a little bit of a pain. I don't even know how you make these. Raw iron. We need 9 times 8, so 72. I don't even have a recipe for this. Right, let's have a look. See if this was what my problem was. Yes, that output bus can still be LP. There we go, that was the problem. And that is formed at LUV. What time of day is it? Oh, it's night time again. Nice. Can we attune this even though we don't have the... Yes, we can. So yeah, now we should be able to go and start work on our chicken. Let me just neaten this up a little bit so it doesn't just look like it's standing on nothing. At least it looks somewhat baked in. This is actually one higher than I wanted it, but I really don't want to move it down now. It's nice to be able to access the underside and make sure everything's hooked up properly. I don't know whether we will actually craft anything with this today or not. That's all we do actually have to make a red shot pedestal. It's really easy. It's just rune marble, normal marble, a rock crystal and liquid starlight with some gold. Now that I upgraded the blood altar, we can actually make the what are they called? These things, crystal clusters. You just need 4 tungsten steel plates to go with these. Now I need a bunch more of these, but I'm just going to make 1 for now. Because I would like this advanced dislocator. And we can add a new. A new home. Set here. Lock that. And then we need ender pearls as fuel. I have 1 on me so I don't get teleported by the enderman. Yeah, this is just basically like these, but I can have as many different points as I want set. So this will be my way of travelling around everywhere from now on. Yeah, I think this will be alright. The purity in cutting is pretty high and the size is very nearly maxed. So we have our Avatas and this one, which I hope will work without us understanding the constellation. Just setting up the area for the chicken and building out the ritual spot. I built a sextant in between episodes just because it makes it much easier to figure out where everything's supposed to go for these rituals. You just place the block down and right click it and you get this preview. And it will show you if you put a block in the wrong place, which is really nice. So that should be our ritual spot set up. And with any luck, if we put this here, and it works perfectly. So these guys are all frozen in place. They can't move. Hopefully that ritual will reach far enough. I'll just move the ritual altar down a little, or ritual pedestal down a couple of levels. Now covers like nearly the whole thing about the level that I'm going to want to summon them. So as long as I summon it, put the summoning thing like here-ish, it should be fine, I think. Yeah, so I watched a few videos on this, and if I understood correctly, having this gap here will stop the antimatter from travelling all the way up this stone wall. I hope. Although part of the reason that I built this out in the middle of nowhere is so if there's a hole to the void here, it won't quite be the end of the world, I guess. Right. So if I put antimatter down in here, and then a space, and then there'll be a floor here, the chickens should still dissolve in it, from what I understood. Okay, and now this whole layer is covered. And we will build the actual floor here with just a 1 layer gap in between. And we had pretty much the perfect amount of stone. It's kind of hilarious seeing all of these guys just frozen in time, especially with an explosive bow. Okay, so we're back and we have everything for the summoning. I've deactivated the ritual because I think that needs to be off for the summoning. This costs a dragon egg, so I'm a little bit nervous about messing this up, but let's see how it goes. I've placed the summoning altar just like 2 blocks off center, just because I think that's should make them summon close enough to the ritual. And then we shift right click with the egg. Well, we seem to have frozen one mid-laser beam. And we have already got just a couple of antimatter. Okay, so I've got some of this dark glass. And I've got an illumination wand. If we shift right click, these blocks become clear, and these are now indestructible blocks, meaning that these chickens can't kill them. Which is kind of important because we don't want them like messing up the antimatter. God, these things are loud. Hopefully they won't be loud for you. If I've done my job properly, they will be turned down in editing. Let's put these here just to be sure. So right, these guys should be trapped in here now. There shouldn't be any way for them to get out. They're completely surrounded by indestructible blocks. So now, I come down here, and I take this crystal out, and put this crystal in. Yeah, those guys are just a little bit loud. That seems to be working great. Already got over a stack of these piles of neutrons. So what we'll do now is we'll just pop back and get an ender chest and an item collector, and then we'll be done. And back to loud noises. Okay, and then to never go back there again because that is just too loud and my ears hurt. Okay, so I think we'll build the implosion chamber compressor thing. Implosion compressor here. These are probably going to get moved if I get round to it. So this would be as far as they go. So we'll leave a couple of spaces. Call this the back. Is this a 3x3? Yeah, it is. Energy hatching, all the hatches on the middle. And then just solid steel machine casings. Okay, easy. Okay, I think we can just power this with a spectacle. We're just doing HV. Go. Go into this chest. And then some conduits, extract on red. And we'll throw a limited item filter in there. Stack of TNT. Stacking tiny piles of neutrons. Oh, and insert on red. Burn extract. And now that will make us Neutronium nuggets. So our big objective probably now is to make this infinity chicken. Because this just makes the end game a lot easier for us. And this is what we're going to be working towards over the next few episodes. In order to make this, we've got primal mana, we've got lubricant, and we've got polytetrafluoroethylene, all on passive. We can make these, they're just very slow. They're probably not all that slow with the higher tier hatches we've got. It's what, 125, 60, about 62 seconds an ingot in our good blast furnace. And we could always upgrade that to the next tier LUV at this point, I think. 30 seconds an ingot, it's not really that bad. We made these crystal clusters today. These are really easy to make. We've got 64 stacks of each of these wheels, and then we just need the tungsten steel. These SEM cells, they're not particularly difficult to make. So it's just the blocks of Neutronium and the infinity blocks, really. We have the chaos shard and we have the corrupted glitch hearts. So we need to make 8 blocks of Neutronium and 4 blocks of Infinity. And in order to make these, we are going to need to make some more Neutronium. But once we have this chicken, we can roost it for Infinity eggs. And this gives us Molten Infinity, which we can cast out into the ingots and the blocks. We could, if we do decide to build an Infernal Deconglomerator at some point, then this gives us a load of high-end dusts as well. We can light well it for red matter, which is used in Draconium. We can get a Wither Soul if we want to use that as a spawner, but like the system we have for spawning the Wither's fine at the moment. I don't think we need anything more robust. You can autoclave it with liquid antimatter, which we've got plenty of for Neutronium, and that eliminates the need for TNT completely, pretty much. You can centrifuge it for some random stuff. We're probably not going to worry about this recipe. Nether stars aren't that hard to come across. And you can crucible it for Awakened Draconium with a few essences. And I'm pretty sure this is a lot cheaper than this recipe. Also, we will actually have to buy a Sky Cauldron. That's one that build a Sky Cauldron. That's one that we won't get away with. But I figured we were probably going to have to for the to recharge Primordial Pearls as well, because these are required to make the Advanced Alchemical Constructs, which are also required for Infinity Catalysts. I may have to make several of these at the start just to get us going with Infinity. But yeah, we're getting close to the end game of the pack, from what I can tell. Still have a few tiers of circuitry to go through, but we're definitely getting close. And on that note, I think we'll end this episode here. We got a bunch done today. I'm probably going to move this down a bit between episodes and just build a catwalk under it. I don't like it there, I've decided. But yeah, between episodes, I still need to set up some sort of oil processing. I can't. It's required for styrene, as far as I can tell, or for butadiene. One of the 2 things you need for styrene, butadiene, and we need that. Process up some more neutrons. I've done 2 and a bit stacks already. That's only like 15 ingots, and we need quite a bit more than that. Next episode, I guess we'll start on some assembly line recipes, because progression-wise, we've done that. So there isn't a fusion reactor and the creative storage key left in this tab. So we're not quite ready to do fusion yet. I think this is the first fusion quest. Yeah, we need wetware assemblies and fusion coil blocks, and these are expensive. These need wetware processors and these neutron reflectors. Work on getting that Infinity Chicken that I was talking about before. And we'll see where it goes from there. There's quite a few options for things that we can progress towards. I'm not really sure what the most efficient is at the moment. So, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Leave your feedback down in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.